Happy Saturday, everyone. I hope you all are enjoying this sort of Pokemon theme song that could have been but didn't, and somehow the only way it was distributed was from through a track called Pokemon Dance Mix, which is weird because the regular mix of the song was never really commercially released. 6 minutes should do it. We'll jump to our game. Hey everybody, happy Valentine's Day. And happy Valentine's Saturday to you, Azure Rest. And Clackaboy saying happy God Gorgeous Valentine's Day. I love how the whole God Gorgeous holiday thing sort of became a meme in my community. Small communities tend to have small memes, and this one is a small but enduring one that I certainly appreciate. So we're playing just a few minutes of Pokemon. I want to really spend a lot more time actually getting through the game. I have resolved to, we'll do a magazine reading section. I don't plan to spend more than an hour on it. I have enjoyed the last several we've done, but it's going to be a bit, I don't know, I've been spending a lot of time on them at the expense, doggone. We spent a lot of time on the magazine readings at the expense of making progress in the stream. So I think it would be, we'll do a magazine reading. It'll probably be a full, about an hour segment, actually. But I do, come on, already, come on. I'm not doing that good. But I am very interested in finishing Pokemon because I knew what I wanted to play next. For about a month, I've had it in my, for the last several weeks, I've had it in my head as to what I'm going to play next. And Clackaboy is saying they can imagine Dorworms giving Valentine's presents. Aw, that's sweet. And that is something they would do. They'd sneak little pieces of candy into their host's pockets and things like that. No, that's definitely a thing they would do. I like how Pikachu, the ball hit him and he squeaked "Meow," and then just let the ball fall into the gutter. But that being said, I'm not doing very good in this section, but I am. We are on the way. I think this is Pewter City. I believe this is what this city's supposed to be. It is very interesting seeing these graphics for the first time. Oh, and by the way, I didn't mention this, but when you play this in color, it's not just that the graphics are colorized. They actually do change some of the graphics to display better or more distinctly in black and white. I believe the red table, either one of these tables, either the red or blue table, actually does have a brick pattern overlaid on the graphics to sort of imply the color red and make the graphics not look so bland in 4 Shades of Grey. But I've recently decided to start playing Pokemon Pinball in full color. It'll be a long time before I play Pokemon Gold and Silver, but I am looking forward to it, even though, frankly, at the rate I'm going, it'll be years down the line. But speaking of future games we'll be playing, I had it in for about a month or so, which game I was going to play next. It was a game that, it was an N64 game, and I was very excited from the specific standpoint that it was an N64 game that's on Nintendo Switch Online, which means I would get to use my original, my replica, my modern new build, wireless Nintendo 64 controller with it. But, what is going on? Why can't I hit the targets a bunch of times? Why isn't it giving me? Oh, come on, come on. Map move failed, darn it. Oh well. Well, the map move is the most important thing we could have been occupying ourselves in. And Clackaboy is saying that I did get a chance to see the video of Pokepark, the first Pokemon theme park in Japan. Yeah, it looks interesting, but it's nothing that would get me to go to Japan, frankly. Yeah, it was an N64 game. I changed my mind. I'm actually going to play a different game at this point instead of that N64 game. And, we are going to do some historical coverage of the game. We're going to have some fun with it. I think this is going to be great. We're going to have fun with it. But it is a game that's going to be on Nintendo Switch. It's a vintage game that's going to be on Nintendo Switch, not the N64 game anymore. But one cool thing is that since we'll be playing on Nintendo Switch for the first time in a very long time, I am actually going to be bringing back Versus Pinball, Nintendo's Versus Pinball, the 1984 arcade game, as our warm-up game. Aw, game over. I suck at the game. Oh well. Good thing it's just for fun and not for money or anything. Okay. We'll play on the blue table this time. With our remaining 60 seconds, 53 and change seconds of time before we move on to our main. Actually, no. We'll play through this. We'll play this through. We'll play through to the end of until we get a game over and move on. And we're about to lose our ball save. Oh, we lost our ball save, so we're officially in, you know, get good territory. Hey, and we're gonna catch an Abra. Probably easier to catch the Abra in. I don't know if I have Abra yet. I believe Abra is one of those Pokemon that's available in... No, it's isn't like... I don't know why, I wanted to feel like Abra was in Red version and Sandslash were in Blue version. But no, Abra's definitely in Red version, but I know Blue version, not this game, like just Pokemon Blue, has Sandshrew and Meowth as version exclusives, if I remember correctly. Yeah, and whenever I look at video of a theme park, the thing I tend to be most interested in is, I guess I'm more interested in the theming than the attractions, because you're going to spend so much time in line for attractions that if the theming is like really immersive, then it's, I guess, not such a bummer standing in lines all the time. And to have good food. And it's funny, like, I know a theme park food, well, carnival food it's a whole separate thing. There's carnival food, you know, like fried Oreos, funnel cakes, corn dogs, and the like. I actually only had fried Oreos for the first time in 2017 on, I got them in Coney Island, and, because it's something I heard about, but I never tried it before. And it's one of those things that sounds kind of gross out of context, right? But it actually turns out that pretty much when you have it, it's just a little... It's frying an Oreo... Oh no, okay, I thought it was game over. It's not. Frying an Oreo turns it into a little cake. Yeah, and Clackable in chat saying Tuesday is Mardi Gras Day and also Lunar New Year, the Year of the Horse. You know, I think... No, I did order the Nintendo Switch Virtual Boy. That should be coming on Monday. I guess it's coming via a UPS or FedEx, because I believe the mail isn't being carried on that Monday for that holiday. And I know you're talking about how it was the Year of the Horse for the Lunar New Year, because they worked Horace Horsecollar, the vintage Disney animated character, into a lot of the festivities at the parks, and that you were attending an event there recently for it. Nice, thank you, Pikachu. Thank you, we appreciate it. We love it when you care. We appreciate the effort. Alright. Let's quit here, actually. And I'll set the timer. Where's the timer? There we go, there's the timer. For 50 minutes. And Clackboy's saying they're going to pick up their Mardi Gras cake on Monday. Their king cake. They'll be sure to take a picture of it. Cool. No, because I know you said... So you actually ordered it at this point? Like, what's like the sort of cutoff point for ordering your king cake? Because I know you hadn't ordered it. Actually, why am I just quitting out? Like, well, I mean, I need to quit out of here. Because of the device I'm playing on, I do need to actually swap out the cartridges. There we go. We'll drop the system back on the dock. And we'll get into our main game of the day, Pokémon Red. There we go. Yeah, actually, this particular bakery makes it available until March 1st. Okay, so even if it's not on Mardi Gras Day, you have a bit of a window to order. That's cool. Alright, so we need to check. We're gonna go actually into our player's guide. So we're in area 2. We're in area 2 here. Okay, so there you can see my mouse cursor. That's area 2. And we need to get to this house here. We'll zoom in a bit. We need to get to this house here for an area 3. And that house is going to have a person we want to talk to. And their item number 3 is the gold teeth for the warden. So that's area 2. So we want to... Oh no, so we want to go up to area 2. Okay. And I would do this organically, but I want to save time at this point, honestly. Okay, so if you go up... Area 2... Okay. No, I'm in this L-shaped area. No, okay. I'm trying to figure this out. Yeah. Okay, we'll go back to the player's guide for a moment. So this L-shaped area... Okay. Alright. Okay. So this whole area north of us. Okay, so we're right near the entrance. Alright. Okay. So we're at the entrance. Okay, so now... So we're at the entrance. Now we're in area 1. So we want to go to area 1 on the map. So area 1, we want to go... And yeah, this is a time thing. But a Collectiboy saying, any special memories of making and receiving Valentines in elementary school? You know, like, Valentines in my elementary school, in like first and second grade, really, we just all had our parents get us a box of Valentines themed with our whatever cartoon character we wanted, and everyone would give a Valentine to everyone else. Like, it really was, like, even kids who hated each other gave each other Valentines. Like, everyone gave a Valentine to everyone, and you know, you'd have your, you know, you'd write everyone's names on it, and the cool kids had the ones with candy in them, which made everyone like you. It really wasn't taken that seriously. It was, in that sense, Valentine's Day was sort of more of a truce day than anything else. Alright, so we're down here. Okay. Okay, I see where we have to go now. Okay, what we have to do. Alright, so... I have to go... Ah, doggone. Okay. I forgot if I have a Dodu or not. And I accidentally threw a Pokeball, so we'll see if... Okay, I didn't catch it, but, and it ran. Which, fine. Go mind your business elsewhere. Okay. Another Doduo. I believe I already caught one of these, but I'm so busy trying to button mash that I, Okay. Oh, see, I'm not even trying to throw these Pokeballs. And True Stay, in Collectible Chat saying True Stay is a perfect description for it in regards to children. Yeah, It's like a water truce in a... Alright. We caught a dojo we did not need. Okay. Okay. I'm so sick of all these encounters, jeez. Do I need to buy freaking repels? That's ridiculous if I have to actually buy repels. Wait. Rest house. Okay. I'm just trying... Okay, so I need to go up and to the left, and we're gonna get to area 2. You're gonna need to go to the bottom path here. Hey there, Mecha Kong. Happy Valentine's Day if you care about that at all. I am we're freaking cheating. We're using a player's guide to get the gold teeth and the surf HM, and because I may not have a PlayStation, but a certain game, and I did we've talked about it. I'm going to keep it a bit of a surprise. A certain game that got announced during the PlayStation event, or it got confirmed during the PlayStation State of Play a couple of days ago. It's going to be the next game I play. Okay. So we need to go to the map for Area 2. Okay, so... Alright, so I need to go... Oh, doggone, I already caught an execute. And Mekong's saying that tomorrow they're playing Minish Cap with a desk cam and guides, so they're not going to judge. Oh, that's going to be cool. I'm not sure how much of it I'll watch, unfortunately, because Minish Cap is a game that I played when it came out, and I really treasured and savored that game. The Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap was the only original Game Boy Advance like fully featured, like, you know, non-multiplayer Zelda quest on the Game Boy Advance. There was a link to the part of the Link to the Past that also included, you know, the Four Swords, a multiplayer mode that also does count as a full-fledged, you know, like unique chapter of the Zelda saga unto itself. You got TM40, but okay, so think about this. It's like 2005. Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess is on the way. Go to the deepest part of the Safari Zone, you will win a prize. What does this guy say? You can keep any item you find on the ground here, but you run out of time if you try for all of them at once. My Eevee evolved into Flareon, but a friend's Eevee turned into a Vaporeon. I wonder why. No, the desk cam with... Oh, doggone. Okay. We're getting the hang of it. We're getting the hang of it, alright? You know what? We're gonna reset. We're gonna reset. We're actually gonna reset. We didn't get anything unique. Like, there's nothing... We caught a dojo we didn't need, that's all. You know. But, Kalaka Boy is saying in chat that they recall making a special mailbox, which was placed on each kid's desk. You walk around the classroom, and everyone distributed Valentine's in the boxes. Afterwards, you had a party with heart-shaped sugar cookies and red artificially flavored fruit punch. I like the detail that it was specifically artificially flavored fruit punch juice drink. But, so, Kalaka Boy, was this served out of a bowl with a ladle? Or did they have like cartons, or did they have like a jug that they poured into like plastic cups? I'm just asking for a friend. I'm just interested. Because even when I was a little kid, I remember being like 3 or 4 years old and thinking that serving juice out of like a bowl with a ladle was just such a strange thing. Okay, so I need to go to Area 2. Okay. Alright, I see what we have to do. It was a plastic jug, okay. Because I remember, actually, I think the first time I saw that being done was in Peanuts, and one of, like... was it Happy New Year, Charlie Brown? I think they were serving juice out of a bowl with a ladle, and I'm just like... Why do that? That seems so obtuse. But given the context that the juice possibly would have actually been potentially homemade... Yeah, bug juice. Well, no, actually, I wonder, was it what you would call bug juice, Clackaboy? Because to me, bug juice is a very specific thing. To me, bug juice is like bug juice is so flagrantly artificial that it makes like Minute Maid fruit punch look like the most high grade like juice like on the market. It is like just pure high fructose corn syrup, like public filtered water, and just cherry flavor or blueberry flavor. It's a decorative touch for public gatherings using the bowl. I never heard of bug juice. Yeah, it is an extremely cheap, like, you know what it's like? Imagine if you cut open like an Otter Pop. If you know what those are, like one of those little freeze pop things. If you cut open a freeze pop and just drank the juice from a freeze pop as a beverage, that's basically what bug juice is. Yeah, we found it. Okay, we got the gold teeth. And do we have enough? Okay, if we goes, no. Okay. Okay, we have enough. Request notice. Please find the Safari Warden's lost gold teeth. They're around here somewhere. Reward offered. Contact Warden. And, Clackaboy is saying, yes, I know Otter Pop. They had it as a kid, but very cheap. I have a poem about Otter Pops. Want to hear my Otter Pop poem? Oh, okay, it's, we're doing it. We're doing the Otter Pop poem. Can I do this from memory? I've never done this from memory before. Temporary tales like what an otter's have will grow, in all the artificial colors of the Otter Pop rainbow. I know the middle and I know the rear. I don't know the middle part. I could skip straight to the back, but okay. Okay, we gotta... Yeah, I'm looking this up on my computer. Okay, Otter Pops. Each summer temporary tales like otters have will grow in all the artificial colors of the Otter Pop rainbow. When behind the kids upon the swings when the heat that August brings makes cold treats the way of course to cool at the park on 74th. I'll do it again. Each summer temporary tales like otters have will grow in all the artificial colors of the Otter Pop rainbow. Behind the kids upon the swings when the heat that August brings makes cold treats the way of course to cool at the park on 74th. And by 74th I do mean Beach 74th Street in New York City. It's a park that I used to go to when I was a little kid. And here we go. It's the guy. Wait, let's talk to the guy. Ah, finally! You're the first person to reach the secret house. I was getting worried that no one would win our campaign prize. Congratulations, you have won. You don't have room for this fabulous prize. Doggone it! Are you kidding me? Okay. Alright, fine. Fine, what? What's something we only have one of? Burn Heal, Carbos, Pt.17, Max Revive, Max Potion, Gold Teeth. Yeah, I guess we'll drop the Burn Heal. Is it okay to toss Burn Heal? Yes, threw away the Burn Heal. Getting burned is an extremely rare experience, especially when you're playing single player. Finally, you're the first person to reach our secret house. I was getting worried that no one would win our prize. Now, the Safari Zone segment took me like I was stuck for what felt like a long time. In real life, it was probably like maybe a week. One of my enlightened fun. Let's see. Do I have? Ooh, this is. Oh, you know what? You know what? I think. Let's see. Gyarados, water, and wait. Why? I just realized Gyarados is water and flying? Why is Gyarados a flying type? I thought it was just water type. And I knew it was a pseudo dragon. I never realized it was Gyarados had flying. So bite, tackle, leer. Yeah. We're going to replace. Hold on. If we can. Can I use surf outside of battle though? That's the interesting. Okay, so HM3 booted up in HM. It contains surf. Teach surf to a Pokemon. Yes. All right, nice. Gyarados can learn surf. Trying to learn surf. Can't learn more than 4 moves. Delete an older move to make room for surf. Yes. We will delete tackle. Because we already have a good normal type move in bite. And Gen 2, Bite becomes a Dark type move, but we'll deal with that when we play Gold and Silver. Gyarados forgot Tackle, and Gyarados learned Surf. Okay. Now, for the first time ever, surfing. Oh, doggone. Okay, we need to... Yeah, we're gonna need to fight. We're gonna... Okay, I mean, it's a good move anyway, but we're going to need to beat some more, I believe, either Koga's gem or Sabrina's gem will allow us to use Surf outside of battle. So we have the move Surf, so once we get the badge, we'll be able to use that move to traverse water and get to that other house. What is in that other house? We could check it out now, see if it's worth coming back for. Area 3. Okay, you know what? All that body of water is a shortcut to get out of the Safari Zone. So we can actually just go ahead and let's see. Can we use the escape rope here? It'd be nice if we could. Let's see. All right, this is treated as a dungeon. Nice and convenient. And, okay. Now, nothing bad happened, of course, but Kalakaboy redeemed the Sodor lore reading, so, we'll put the console to sleep for a moment and switch over to our, I pressed the wrong button there, to our Sodor lore reading, in which we will get a bit of deep lore from the history of the island of Sodor. So, what were we reading about? We were reading about the Glennock on the Teleclin Railway. I mean, on the Skarloey Railway. Okay. Now, the tunnel section of the Skarloey Railway we're going to read about. This 3-mile section is one most subject to the weather's vagaries. Oh, okay, vagaries. Okay, and it's funny. I hear that word said, but I don't see it spelled. I never saw it spelled out before. I almost said vagrancies. These incidents are recorded in very old engines, little old engines, and what's GOE? I forgot what GOE is. Gallant old engine. Okay, are typical of many others. The line is much more sinuous than as indicated on the map. The tunnel is short but curved, so that on entering it's impossible to see right through, and thus having warning of any obstruction. It is also unlined and subject to seepage. This sometimes loosens rock fragments. Icicles also form here in the frosty weather. North of the tunnel, the line runs along a ledge and is subject to washouts after heavy rain. Regular inspection is therefore necessary and inevitably upon the worst weather conditions. hence the adjectives used to describe this section. So we get a washout in 1867, mentioned in very old engines. Another washout in 1961 in Gallant Old Engine. A loose rock fragment halts Duncan in Little Old Engine, page 29. An icicle in the tunnel damages Peter Sam in Gallant Old Engine, page 9. And first aid for a damaged chimney with a drain pipe, also in Gallant Old Engine. Alright. That'll do it for now. And we'll get back to Pokémon Red, because we got another 28 minutes before our first break of the stream. Alright. And it's funny, when I put the analog pocket back on the dock, I could actually see it in my broadcast software before I could see it on my monitor. H-Drone on the PC. Let's deposit some items. Some things we don't need. We'll deposit soda pop, lemonade. Got plenty of soda pop, lemonade. Gotta put in we need to put in we'll keep the escape rope, the great ball. Carbos, we'll put it in for now. No! Damn it! No! Gosh darn it. That's the last thing I wanted to do. Okay. That's the very last thing I wanted to do. That's the absolute opposite of what I needed to have happen there. But, yeah, I didn't, now that I realized that... Okay, we're gonna keep the gold teeth. I mean, I heard of a gold tooth, but an entire set of gold dentures, like, that would be, that's a lot of money. TM40, revive, escape rope, great ball. No. And let's see. Now, actually, I'm gonna have to go back to the PC. I almost went left without the bicycle. I have to get the bike out, and then I'm going to have to withdraw item. Okay, we need the bike. We got the moonstone, helix fossil, nugget, escape rope. And all the way at the bottom, we've got the bicycle. There we go. And now, to get the bike back at the top of the list, look at what I have to go through. I can't just switch two items. I have to, okay. I have to manually put it back at the top. So, fresh water. Now I want to switch the fresh water with the soda pop. Switch the soda pop with the lemonade. Switch the Poke Flute with the lemonade. Switch the Poke Flute with the revive. Switch the antidote with the revive. Switch the antidote with the paralyze heal. Switch the escape rope with the paralyze heal. And put the escape rope with the great ball. Switch the full restore with the full restore with. There we go. Max potion protein. Okay, those last couple. And yeah, I could just. Actually, I want to deposit the protein as well while I'm at it. Let me put the protein back. Yeah, to have the items where I want them, unfortunately, I have to jump through all those hoops. Instead of just putting an item where you want it, or directly above or below the cursor, you have to swap two items, so. H save the game. Okay, now let's attempt the gym. You see Pokemon Gym Leader Koga, the poisonous ninja master. Alright. Yo, champ in making. Fuchsia Gym is riddled with invisible walls. Koga might appear close, but he's blocked off. You have to find gaps in the walls to reach him. Strength isn't the key for Pokemon. It's strategy. I'll show you how strategy can beat brute strength. Okay. Our first one of Koga's disciples. The Juggler. You know, one of the Juggler trainer class, I thought their main gimmick was switching between Pokemon a lot, so I'm surprised to see one that only has a single... Yeah, the last stream we didn't really battle much at all, aside from catching a few Pokemon, isn't that? Yeah, so let's... Yeah, we don't get same type attack bonus. We gotta go to Game Boy Night mode for the next... How many minutes was that? For the next... Okay. Until the end of this section of the stream, pretty much. Okay. There we go. Wow, yeah, I sure am tiny in my old layout. Yeah, I sacrificed having the box art to make the layout a lot bigger, but I think... I don't know, I guess I have this weird reluctance to... I don't know, I guess I wanted the game to be be more important on be more prominent on screen than me personally, but I mean, people are, I guess, watching, if they just wanted to watch some Pokemon with no commentary, without a personality behind it, I mean, they could have just found a uncommented gameplay video on YouTube, but instead they went to a live streamer, and might as well make myself bigger on the layout. And that was my thinking there with my newer layouts. Yeah, the psychic animation's very trippy, but oh, doggone, I expected you'd be able to survive that. Okay. Alright, fine then. We'll, What? I was not expecting that. So you like my, which layout in particular? The, or are you just saying my layouts in general? Because, like, this layout is kind of like my older style. Like, you noticed when I was playing Pokemon, when I was playing Pokemon on my, you know, just regular Game Boy, you know, not in Game Boy Night mode. That's sort of my newer style with my, avatar a lot bigger. Ah! What the heck? Why are they... Okay, why are these guys all so stupid strong? Okay. But, okay, you like them in general. I know, like, the general, I guess, scheme of my layouts, the concept behind them, has basically been the same since my very first stream. And I know, like, having all my chat commands there, I found that it's very rare that anyone actually uses those chat commands, but if it's a layout, I use more general layouts that aren't specific to a particular game. Okay. I believe Soda Pop will bring Gyarados to full health. This is ridiculous. Why is... I'm just getting my butt kicked all of a sudden. In general, but this one in particular is very clean. Yeah, I mean, they're level 38, I'm level 32, but they only have one Pokemon, though, so... Alright, we got it, we got it. We got it. And what, you know, and I don't want to throw too much shade at anyone in particular, because there are people who's... Okay, 1,330 for winning. You couldn't just throw in 7 more on top of that so we could get 1,337 for winning? Well, Anyway, I'm glad Gyarados actually, one of my level 32s actually got some experience out of that. Now, yeah, but it really gets me, and I don't know, I don't want this to seem like I'm upset at people who are bigger on Twitch than me, but it really gets me when people might have like 100 or more people watching them, and they typically stream 16:9 games, and their layout is based around that. And then they'll play a 4:3 game, like a retro game or one of the Toby Fox games that are presented in 4:3, and they'll leave the 4:3 game in the center of their layout, and they won't actually put it off to the side and have their webcam or their avatar take up that extra space. So they create the situation where their webcam or their avatar, if they're a VTuber, will obscure up to a quarter of the game screen. And it's to the point where lots of major text, I saw someone play through the entirety of Final Fantasy VII, and they had hundreds of people watching them, and their avatar or webcam took up a quarter of the game screen for no reason, and there's just a bunch of wasted space in their 16:9 layout. And throughout the entire game, the guy's like, "Oh, sorry, chat, my webcam's blocking the game. Sorry, you can't read what he just said." And I'm like, how could you have hundreds of viewers and be doing this on a professional basis and not care enough to just move your game screen over slightly and move your webcam over slightly in the other direction so you're not obscuring the game? I don't get it. I don't get how viewers, I mean, I watch them, they're a nice person, they're a great streamer, obviously more talented than me because they're doing this for a living, but I don't get it. I don't get how you could get that big with, ignoring things like that, being aware that they're a problem, and continuing on with a 30-40 hour RPG. But that's just whatever. But I mean, is that worse than taking what? I'm on my 3rd calendar year of playing this one game RPG. I'm on my 3rd calendar year of playing this one game. Whereas they could actually play through the entirety of Final Fantasy VII and move on to another game in maybe a month, under a month. So you could choose for yourself who's actually not, who actually is not that great at streaming. I'm not saying the person I'm even talking about is bad at it or anything, but I'm in no position to talk about what makes for a great stream or what people want to watch, so I'm not going to pretend I'm more important than I actually am. Would you like to use Drowsy? Okay, when you don't have a single absurdly over-leveled Pokemon, okay, I'm actually performing reasonably well at this. Now, it's funny, I'm using Bite against the Psychic type. In Gen 2, in Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Crystal, using a Bite is instead a Dark-type move, which is super effective against dragons, against Psychics. Part of the reason they added the Dark type was because in this game, Psychic type is very powerful. So we'll see lots of Psychic and Poison type Pokemon and moves being used, like Gyarados just got poison there. We'll have to, nice! Got to level 33, and defeated the Jungler. You had me fooled. Okay. So yeah, fortunately, one nice thing is that we could switch. Actually, no, I'm not even going to switch. I'm not even going to heal them. We're right next door to the Pokemon Center anyway. So, in terms of economy, wait, actually, how much? Okay, we have 3,510. All the money we have is pretty much... We were almost out of money in the Safari Zone. I wanted to become a ninja, so I joined this gym. Yeah, a good... Just the idea that, hey, I want to be a secret, assassin infamous for covert operations. I'm gonna go to this publicly marketed gym because I know I could train to be a ninja there. Alright, so... let's see if... okay. Yeah, we're not... Can we actually inflict... they're not a poison type, so there's a possibility we could actually land this poison in on them. With Poison Sting. Oh, they withdrew Drowsy and sent out another Drowsy. Oh, and they're back to their other one. Nice, we got him poisoned. And Drowsy's hurt by the poison. And, we'll, use focus energy for now. Yeah, I was very concerned as to... yeah, we'll use... nice, they're both poisoned now. And, yeah, so both of them are poisoned. And there's really nothing in terms of... yeah, we'll just focus on Horn Attack for now. Okay, so that one's knocked out. Now we just got to get the other one. Oh, actually, they have. I didn't realize they had. Are they gonna send? Okay, this is the Drowsy we fought before. All right. Ah, Kadabra. Okay, we'll. There's Fortress Focus Energy was out. The arena's disabled no more. Gone. Okay. Yeah, Psychic is super effective against poison types, so I believe, So if we send out Jigglypuff, Sing is a normal type move. Oh, they withdrew Kadabra and sent out. Okay. It's not likely we're going to they already have a status effect, so let's revive Nidorino. Jigglypuff's defense scroll is... okay, taken away. Alright. So... yeah, let's just beat up on him till, alright, that's a decent amount of damage. They used Confusion. Alright, that was nearly a quarter damage. Not ideal. It's, you know, it's a pretty good hit, but we knocked out another one. Jigglypuff alone will gain the experience for that. And because Sing is a normal type move, and they used Recover. Hey, nice. We put him to sleep. Alright. Now, so... and, okay, so Defense Girl still... and I believe... we could get decent... okay, yeah, we're doing good. Okay, Jigglypuff's not disabled anymore, but the enemy did wake up. And of course they withdraw. Send out Drowsy. Yeah, let's try to put them to sleep again. Nice, we got it in, we got that attack in. And in about 10 minutes we'll go on our first break of the stream. We're gonna do 6-minute breaks instead of 5. I really do want to get those multiple. I want to try to. I want to beat the game. I want to beat this game. I want to get through this gym today. Pound. There we go. Fainted. Nice. Got to level 33. And they're gonna use Kadabra. We'll give it a we'll send Nidorino out. I believe we can, I believe I'm gonna be quicker than them. So if we use Horn Attack, I think this should knock them off. Okay, no, they are faster than us. And, I was betting on being faster than them. It didn't work out. Yeah, might as well. Oh, come on, my one... Okay, my one damage-dealing move. Fine, we'll use one of our Pokemon that, is already at level 33. And... what are they? Okay, Thunder Wave was disabled. We'll use Thunder Shock. Thunder Wave doesn't deal damage, and I really just care. Oh, so close. That tiny little bit of health left. Okay. Ah, by one hit point. One freaking hit point. Let's see if we could. Are we gonna survive this? Oh, come on. Land the attack. Yes. Okay. Super effective. Knocked him out. H defeated Juggler. And I believe that Psychic, and now there's no Dark type as an element type in this game, but I believe Psychic is weak against Dark and Bugs. Because Psychic is all about, like, mind power, right? So... two of the biggest phobias are fear of bugs and fear of the dark. I'm done for. I will keep training on under Koga, my ninja master. Yeah, I gotta wonder how successful someone is as a ninja if they're famous for being a ninja master. Alright, welcome to our Pokemon Center. We heal your Pokemon back to... Yes. Do it. Do it. Do it. Okay. Do the thing. We hope to see you again. Okay, that's great. So... Jigglypuff, Gyarados. Okay, so we... Wow, Nidorino's our last, Pokemon is still at level 32. Okay, we fought the guy over to the left and to the right. Okay, that guy, and this guy over here. And this, wow, we fought the 3 trainers. Ah, this guy. I also study the way of the ninja with Master Koga. Ninja have a long history of using animals. I guess... I'm surprised they didn't say Pokemon there. Ninja have a long history of using animals. What, for food? Like... Oh yeah, back when, they actually allowed the, certain Pokemon characters, certain characters to have whips, implying that they whip their Pokemon. Tamer sent out Arbok. And, okay, so we have Poison versus Poison, but this is a normal type move. So we'll use... Okay, they use normal type move against me. I used Focus Energy. And we'll use Horn Attack. Start dealing some damage. So, if we could survive... Oh, come on, just one... Yeah, we okay, good. We got it. We're getting all the EXP for this battle, or this duel, I guess, this exchange. And yay, they're at level 33 now. Now to use Sand Slash. No, we won't. Oh, is Sand Slash actually a poison type, or is poison just not a poison type moves not effective against ground? They used Scratch, and Nidorino is out of there. Well, well, Sand Slash being a ground type Pokemon, the obvious choice here is no Surf. Water being very effective against ground. And knockout. Team's about to use Arbok. There we go. No particular reason I chose Surf again. I just already had it selected. And there we go. Knock them out. H defeated Tamer. Awoo! Aw, awoo! I still have much to learn. Yes, that especially that ninjas don't go awoo. Alright. Ninjas are not known for making noise of any kind. They're known to be silent and sneaky. Not for going awoo. Alright, so we'll go back in the gym. We'll go to right before the next trainer we'd have to fight. Is the next trainer actually I'm sure there's at least one more trainer before you actually fight Koga. We'll save here. Alright, so okay. Stop right there. Our invisible walls have you frustrated? Okay. What is going on? I'm trying to... I'm very confused right now. I don't know why. Hey there, Wordercat and friends. How you doing? I'm a Super Train Station H, autistic gamer and writer, and I don't know why. We're playing Pokemon Red and Blue on the Game Boy Night. And hold on. Bam. Yep, and there's the lore for the Game Boy Night there. We're actually, if I wasn't busy, I would have watched or joined if it was open. I heard that y'all were playing Jackbox earlier, is what I got to get a glance at. Now, of course, to peel back the curtain a bit, of course, and break the illusion, I'm playing this on the Analog Pocket system, so I have an actual Pokemon Red cartridge sitting in there. Hey there, new follower. If anyone else is interested in following, my follow alerts are anonymous. So that means that if you don't want to participate in chat or have attention drawn to you, you can go ahead and do that. We'll celebrate you joining the community, but you don't, no strings attached, and you get a bunch of adorable doorworm emotes just for following. Now, yeah, this is why be subtle? Why be subtle with this? We could just go over to Gyarados. We'll use Surf again. We'll get through this battle, and then we'll save the game. Alright, now Wordercat saying he had Discord-only lobbies for Jackboxes of possible trolls, but he had an audience open. Okay, that's a good measure. Tamer's about to use Arbok. Yeah, we'll... Actually, yeah, let's switch Pokemon. Let's have someone else. Let's send out Pikachu. Let's send out Pikachu. And... yeah, we're actually... As soon as we get through this battle, I'm actually gonna do... I do around about an hourly breaks. And hey, let me say this right. I know me or Aonomi? How am I trying to work my tongue around those vowels there. In chat, you're okay, you're their chat mod. Oh, you seem cool, so you're gonna follow? Okay, well, thank you. Well, if you want to look back on my previous streams, I've been streaming since about 2020, and about 80 to 90, since May 2020. And 80 to 90% of my streams are all preserved on that YouTube playlist there. And we paralyzed that Pikachu. I mean, we had Pikachu paralyze that Arbok, and now we'll beat up on them a bit, get through this battle, and do one of our little short breaks. Unfortunately, I don't have the stamina to sit down and I would do 8 to 8 hour streams like all the time if I could, but I just physically can't. Even just doing 3 or 4 is a bit of a challenge for me. So I'll do a full 5-minute break, but we could use that as an opportunity to get the ads out the way and things like that. Alright. This is really just, I'm not too worried about preserving my team as much as I am. Oh, come on. Now, I want to do a little more damage than that. Alright, slash. Critical hit. Okay, we got Gyarados and Charmeleon getting experience from that. Whoa, he's got it! He's got it! Yeah, so, you know, I was looking at that game. Oh, hold on, I forgot. I know what it's called. That MU Devs game you were playing on your stream, if you're still around, Wordercat. I'm not into programming and coding. Like, at the most, I would probably just do some basic, well, not literally basic, possibly potentially basic, but just some simple, like, exercises and little, like, beginner's lessons that are probably really more intended for kids than anyone else. Just as a hobby thing, just as kind of the equivalent of, like, you know, building model kits or putting together ships and bottles or things like that. Yeah, so that, yeah, because I saw you after you did your target practice the other day. You were working on that MU Devs game. Like, is that sort of like a guided coding experience? Is that sort of how you describe it? Because it seems like it's a game, and throughout the course of the game, you're programming an emulator, pretty much, an emulator program. Is that based on what little I saw, that's basically what the gist of that game is? Because it looks kind of interesting. It's not something I would do on stream, and I say that as someone for whom 90% of my video gameplay time is spent on stream. But I know when it comes to the PlayStation State of Play the other day, there are some games that I am certainly interested in. I don't know why pressing the home button no longer... Okay, pressing the home button on my controller is no longer bringing up my options. But I'm gonna go ahead. I'll be back in a few minutes. Oh, went to... Okay. There. No, that's not what I wanted to do. It's nice. I'm glad that still works, but... And Workat's saying, yeah, it's semi-guided. It might be difficult without much JavaScript knowledge, though. It's probably not an ideal stream game, but one of my subs wanted to see you play it, so they're making... Okay, cool. Because that seems like something that takes a lot of concentration. But for now, I will be back in 6 minutes, and I'll make sure... I'll run the ads before the end of that, so they don't interrupt our actual content. And I will see you soon. Hey everyone, I knocked over a panel in my apartment the second I sat back down to continue the stream. So, alright, here we go. Alright, so if Aonaumi or anyone who is unfamiliar with my streams, I don't just like to play games, I also like to provide some historical context for the games. We'll read vintage magazines. If the game was recent enough that there's E3 footage or an E3 press conference where it was first revealed, we will go ahead and... yeah, no, it's just a little piece of cardboard that I used to block the RGBs on my glass... Like, I have a gamer PC, right? So it has a glass panel on the side with RGBs that the very few times I actually run my PC after I go to bed, I just cover it up with that. And I wasn't using it. But so it's nothing major, nothing broke, right? So here we have from December 1997. So this is right before the year. So this is sort of right in between the Japanese release of Pokémon Red and Green and the North American launch of Pokémon Red and Blue. So, and we have Diddy Kong Racing as the cover story. Better than Mario Kart 64. You know, I have not played Diddy Kong Racing. The last time I played it, it was on a rental cartridge from Blockbuster, which shows you how long ago it was that I was playing it. And in fact, the times I rented it, I remember those Saturday mornings spent playing that game. With its single-player sort of quest aspect, it was certainly more ambitious than Mario Kart 64. But I remember playing as Conker a lot in anticipation of Conker's Quest 12 Tales. So here we have this edgy Eidos ad looking like a first aid guide for games like Fighting Force, Ninja. Oh, I guess I should go ahead and actually set the timer. You can't see it on this layout, but we'll check this out for about an hour. And Wordercat in chat is saying the only thing they know about Donkey Kong Racing is that it's a story mode and Mario 64 does it. And you know, the lack of any story or contextual, I guess, any context for the story to live in. I mean, I was sort of a Sega kid, right? I didn't have, my first Nintendo system was the Game Boy in 1995. And my first home Nintendo system, my first home system in general, was the Nintendo 64. So I was like kind of ignored a lot of, I was more paying attention to what was going on Game Gear, on Sega, developments with the Sega CD and 32X. I really wasn't aware of Mario Kart. So I got an N64, you know, I didn't ask my parents for it. My parents got it for me, and my friend in school was like, "Oh yeah, we have Mario Kart 64." I'm like, "Mario Kart? What's Mario Kart?" It's like, "Oh yeah, it's all Mario characters, and they're in go-karts and they're racing." And I'm like, "Why? Oh, why are they racing?" And they're like, "No, they just are." So when I rented the game, I was very disappointed when the manual did not provide any sort of context or explanation as to why these Mario characters are go-karting. And the things I remember about Donkey Kong Racing, or Diddy Kong Racing, is one, that it has a story mode, and that the music was good enough that my dad actually liked the music. My dad was one of those, he was a gamer, he played video games, he enjoyed it, he could definitely get further in Star Fox 64 than I could, so I'd watch him play a lot, but he was very harsh, it was very slow to... And Wordercat in chat saying they just saw the greatest digital Valentine's card. Let's hear this one. I remember like a few years ago, Pokemon released some official like printable Valentine's cards that actually like were shipping certain Pokemon together, like Umbreon and Espeon and the like. I'm like, oh, okay, they actually are. Yeah, so this is an article basically talking about what a good film-to-movie translation GoldenEye was for Nintendo 64. Now, Wordercat saying, a picture of a JAMA arcade board, and the caption is, "Put me in a harness and turn me on." Okay, it's a little spicy, that's a little spicy and esoteric. If you don't want to know what a JAMA board is, there were several different standards for arcade cabinets. And JAMA, and some of these standards it made it easy for proprietors, like if you had a laundromat or a pizza parlor or an actual arcade with lots of titles, to swap out new games if an old game wasn't getting played much, wasn't bringing in much revenue, and also standardized platforms for which companies could develop games for it. And oh yeah, Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Okay. We just had a new Castlevania game announced a few days ago at the PlayStation State of Play, and Castlevania Symphony of the Night, which was basically, as I never played any of the Castlevania games, but I understand that Symphony of the Night was basically a sequel to Rondo of Blood on the Japanese equivalent of the TurboGrafx-16's CD system. This is where fear lives. This is Castlevania Symphony of the Night, the latest nefarious incarnation of Konami's classic adventure, where the undead covet your soul and the floors are paved with skulls. Where you battle your way through 1,000 rooms, and maybe more, no one knows for sure, teeming with powerful new magic weapons, power-ups, and unimaginably gruesome creatures to kill your father, Dracula, ending your cursed bloodline once and for all. But just when you think it's over, the multiple endings will have you believing in life after death. So come, pay a visit to Castlevania. You'll find the address in your nightmares. Goodness gracious. Yeah, that's some grade A quality copywriting right there. But yeah, so Castlevania is you can't see the screenshots very well. Actually, no, they blew up pretty well. So Castlevania is a 2D Castlevania game using the power of the PlayStation to making beautifully animated sprite work and hand-drawn backdrops. But because it was a 2D side-scrolling game, there was a certain attitude that this was not the direction a new Castlevania game should go in, that this was like clinging to the past, and it looked like there was also an absolute equivalency made between 3D graphics, therefore being better graphics, which we know certainly is not the case, because like the artwork, the in-game artwork in Castlevania Symphony of the Night still looks pretty good now, whereas the polygonal 3D Castlevania games on Nintendo 64 certainly do not stand up as well. And Amekong saying that game is hard to buy legitimately right now, despite Konami's willingness to release plenty of retro game classics. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if they're planning something special for Castlevania Symphony of the Night. But I know there was a Nintendo 64 magazine that had an infamous article where they compared like Castlevania Symphony of the Night screenshots to the Castlevania game for Nintendo 64, which is a polygonal 3D game, which in hindsight and possibly even at the time was not very strongly received, saying, "Oh, look how much better N64 is than PlayStation, you know, in their Castlevania versions. It shows obviously how far superior Nintendo is to PlayStation." And it's like, yeah, definitely that aged like sour milk. All you want for Xmas. We have this enticingly dressed and posing woman here, and I guess these three elves. Okay. Slower traffic, keep right. Sonic R, hard stuff. Yeah, not ad for Sonic R. You know, I really thought that Sonic R was a direct sequel to the Sonic Drift games on Game Gear. Oh, here we go. Actually, this is the perfect letter for what we were just talking about. 2D or not 2D? I would like to comment on something you said at the end of the Best 100 Games feature. You said that you didn't want to send the wrong message to game developers to stop making polygon 3D games. Well, I wish you would. Oh boy, this is going to be classic. A classic as in like classically badly aged. Classic like, a radio ad to book a flight on board the airship Hindenburg because it's the safest and fastest way to travel across the ocean. Yeah, but I wish you would, not to stop making them, but look at all the crap they're spewing out that perhaps make a return to the old school side-scrolling butt-kicking fun. I mean, come on, Super Mario 64. Oh, wait. Wait, hold on. Maybe I'm misinterpreting this. Yeah, yeah, back when they used to explicitly dox people, they'd actually just post their full-up names and addresses. Mindspring.com. What is Mindspring? I was around on the internet at this time. I don't remember Mindspring. But I would like to comment on something you said. You said that you didn't want to send the wrong message to game developers to stop making polygon 3D games. Well, I wish you would. Not to stop making them, but take a look at the crap they're spewing out. And perhaps... Okay, no, this is the opposite of... I misinterpreted this. This is the opposite of what I was saying. Okay, come on, I know Super Mario 64 was fun, but it was also over in a few days. It had a meager challenge to it. I remember when I got my hands on Super Mario World. I'm not saying the challenge was more or less than Mario 64, but I remember Mario World having more content. I'm truly afraid of game companies rushing to jump on the 3D bandwagon. I'm afraid they've forgotten how to make genuinely good games. I'd rather have Zelda 64 play like A Link to the Past rather than another Mario 64 game, look at the PlayStation version of Castlevania, and say to myself, why would anyone want to play the Castlevania 64 in 3D? Don't get me wrong, certain games should stay in the 3D arena. I wouldn't play Quake in 2D. Every time I play Tekken 3, I still gasp in amazement. Still, I'd prefer the transition from, say, Metroid to Super Metroid than to see Super Metroid get transformed into, well, another Super Mario 64. That's a very, very nuanced, very nuanced, and progressive kind of take on this, because this was contrary to a lot of opinions at the time. Like, I remember when I rented Mischief Makers for Nintendo 64, the clerk at the Blockbuster actually warned me, like, okay, just so you know, this game is only 2D, it's not a 3D game, because apparently people were returning the game when they realized it was a side-scroller. Then Wordercat in chat is explaining that Mindspring is an ISP from Atlanta, got merged with Earthlink in 2000. Okay. Yeah, I was definitely pretty far up north to be familiar with that at the time. Okay, now here's something interesting. Secret Admirer. I greatly enjoyed the letter for Terra in issue 100 and accompanying photo of Cloud's ass. Being a gay male video game enthusiast, I sympathize with Terra's feelings of being neglected. Nonetheless, I certainly understand the majority of game players, your readers, are young heterosexual males, so I applaud your efforts to appease those of us with different interests. I also say that Sean Smith is absolutely adorable. He's by far the hottest game reviewer I've ever seen. I love his... I wouldn't start, like giving compliments to the staff, but, yeah, so we got some representation from the LGBT community in the letter section. Before that was necessarily fashionable to include. So and actually responded respectfully. So kudos to them. EGM game letters. Now, this is interesting. Here we've got. Okay. We'll scroll through this. Winner, best PlayStation game at E3. Unique gameplay and killer graphics that will rocket it straight into the PlayStation Hall of Fame. This is all about Oddworld's Abe's Odyssey. Yeah, shout out to the gay guy that wants to date Cloud Strife. And it's kind of interesting. Like, there's a scene in, it's kind of, well known, but there's a sequence in Final Fantasy VII where Cloud disguises as a woman in order to infiltrate a brothel and rescue a human trafficking victim. So there's like a concrete reason for him to do that, because like in real life, like, like people on undercover missions, like, like actual real life espionage and stuff like that, they'll dress as other genders and stuff like that in order to evade detection and infiltrate places and complete missions. But they do also kind of play it up for laughs in a way that you could argue is kind of is pretty disrespectful to people who may dress outside of typical gender expectations. They kind of address this in the remake of Final Fantasy VII, and sort of have personal sort of an identity liberation message attached to it, which I think is I understand their intention, but it's kind of ruined to me by the fact that Cloud is very clearly not into it, and he's only like doing it just to save his friend, and he's like very uncomfortable and not into this. It's not like Cloud was like, it's the liberation of, Cloud's, how he wants to express himself. It's kind of the opposite of that. He's doing something he's very uncomfortable with to help a friend. But, yeah, so even back then, there was sort of issues of this nature being addressed in games, but you know what? I think the previous EGM to this was the top 100 games thing, and I don't remember if we looked through those on stream or not. It's definitely one oh, Armored Core. Yeah, a mech game that I never actually saw this. Even before I wasn't even into Gundam at this time, but I love giant robots. And I mean, this Armored Core design in particular, especially with these chest vents, very reminiscent of sort of Gundam-ish designs. 45 weapons, huge 3D worlds. I never actually got to see that. I never played this because I never saw it in Blockbuster. And Mecha is saying GamePro would definitely make a cringe joke about it back then. And Mecha is saying they finalized their lineup for Mecha March. Oh yeah, Mecha March. I forgot about that. Yeah, Mecha March. Mecha is going to be doing a themed sort of series collaboration, I believe, with whoever wants to participate into a stream games featuring mechs and robots, armored suits, all kinds of mechanized, especially humanoid powered weaponry in the world of science fiction. And Clackaboy saying, since I love giant robots, am I familiar with the old anime Raiden? No, I've heard of it, but I don't know much about it. It's just one of those things that's sort of on my list, and I never actually looked into it. Is that something you've actually seen? I love like the 1970s and 80s Gundam. There's so many classics I have to see. I've never seen Patlabor. I've never seen Zabungle. I've never seen Space Runaway Ideon. I've never even seen Macross. I've actually have yet to see Macross, and I look forward to doing so when I get the chance. But kind of like reruns, but even more fun the second time. Yeah, so more Namco retro games here. Oh, okay. So hold on. Let me actually. I'm going to punch this into YouTube. Okay. I'm gonna type that in actually. Rydeen. Okay, there we go. Now, I believe Rydeen, from what I remember, if it's a, I'm just punch that in because you say it looks like it is actually freely available, which is going to be great. But, where's the? There we go. Yeah, I believe Rydeen is on the sort of super robot end of the spectrum, because their super robot shows kind of like Mazinger Z, or I believe Mazinger Z is super robot, or Gigantor, where the robots are kind of superheroes. Also, Voltron. You know, the robots are kind of superheroes, whereas something like Armored Core up here is more into what they call the real robot sort of side of it, where the robots are treated more like bipedal tanks. They're not superheroes unto themselves. They are military hardware that requires support crews and maintenance. They run out of ammo, they need parts replaced, and they're piloted by soldiers rather than, I guess, someone you'd describe as a superhero. Alright, so we got some black and white scans, a couple of them. And Sony kidnaps Lara Croft. Eidos' Star Adventure signs up for PlayStation exclusivity. And it's very easy to forget that that Tomb Raider, I think 1 and maybe 2 were not PlayStation exclusive. They also appeared on the Sega Saturn. Because I associate the early Tomb Raider games so much with PlayStation. I forgot that there was, I believe, a Saturn version. Yeah, Rydeen is piloted by a young man. Okay. I mean, when I say that the robots are superheroes, I mean, like, that I guess it also plays into the design aesthetics a bit to an extent. I'm not a super aficionado to explain the difference, but it's like, basically, if the main character is like a soldier in a military and he needs a support crew to do maintenance on the robot, it's usually, and if it can run out of ammo, it's more of a real robot. If it's something more a bit like Power Rangers or arguably Astro Boy, even though he's not really a mech in the sense that Astro Boy's a character unto himself, no one pilots him. And we have some coverage of Nintendo beanbag toys. And you have to remember that this is at a time when video game merchandise was not all over the place like it is today. So, you have Game Boy Boosts NCL. Nintendo Company Limited said that sales for the first 6 months of the year would be higher than its earlier estimate of 180 billion yen. The company attributed this to solid sales of the Game Boy, which continues to be strong in Japan. The popularity of the Pocket Monster game in Japan has buoyed Nintendo's black and white portable, when in terms of historical lifespan, it should all be dead. And Wordercat in chat is saying, can't believe they made the sequel PSX exclusive. All one Tomb Raider fans on N-Gage will be so upset. Well, I mean, by the time N-Gage came out, like the original, I believe there was a port of Tomb Raider 1 for the N-Gage. And, you know, Wordercat, the fact that you called it PSX is interesting, because we're so far away from that generation that there are people who are saying, why do people keep calling the PlayStation 1 the PSX? No one called it that at the time. And no, like, it actually absolutely was like commonly called PSX at the time. It was called PSX more often than it was called PS, and then it was often called PS1. But here are some current events. 500,000 clouds. Final Fantasy VII becomes the fastest selling PlayStation game ever. Final Fantasy VII marked Sony's biggest PlayStation software launch in the system's 2-year history. It has also turned once niche market for role-playing games to a mainstream title. No other console RPG has been promoted as heavily as Final Fantasy VII. In its first week of sales, Sony said that they had 300,000 copies of the game, selling 30,000 more than Nintendo Star Fox 64 did in its first week of sales. The game sold so well that Sony likened its success to Labor Day weekend top-grossing film G.I. Jane. In its first weekend, Final Fantasy VII grossed $16.5 million, more than that of Demi Moore's latest film, which grossed $11 million. The fact that stores began selling the game about 5 days before its real street date of September 7th, the game had a little more time to gain an edge, but performed very well. Less than 3 weeks after its launch, Sony reported that the game broke sales of more than 500,000, obliterating Sony's own sales records as the fastest-selling PlayStation game ever, and the fastest-selling console RPG ever. To boot, Final Fantasy VII broke into the VSDA's top 5 video game rental chart at number 3. I helped that happen. Breaking a chart that Nintendo 64 games have dominated for at least 6 months. Within its second week of rental availability, it edged out Star Fox for the number 2 slot and was closing the gap between it and Nintendo's hit GoldenEye 007. Nintendo is continuing to promote the game through the holiday season with radio promotions and a featured game in their Pepsi promotion. Final Fantasy VII will appear on Diet and Diet Pepsi through the holiday season, backed by a $10 million ad campaign. Sony's created 3 for the game. Pre-sales on FF7 totaled over 200,000, breaking the most software chain records for number of pre-sales. Compared to its Japanese debut, the game sales in the US pales in comparison. Japanese gamers clamored for the game, making it sell 2.5 million copies in the first 3 days. Wow, okay, I did not expect that many. On October 2nd, Square released a new version of FF7 to the Japanese market called the International. It includes all the improvements made to the US release and a 4th disc of extra goodies, including a complete map of the area in the game, monster guide, and more. Wish we could drink an FF7 Pepsi. And you know, FF7 and the US did the tie-in with Pepsi, but in Japan, Final Fantasy IX did a tie-in with Coca-Cola. And the reason I remember this is because I downloaded a commercial for it, and there's a scene, and the Mecha Kong is in chat saying, "I wonder what flavor Tifa is." Well, you know, when Cloud went through her drawers, I believe she had I forgot what Pepsi. I know I'm not a big Pepsi person. I'm more of a Coke person. So I don't know what flavors of Pepsi they are. So I can't make a joke. Oh, whoa, she always drinks vanilla Pepsi. I don't know if vanilla Pepsi's a thing. And FF14 did a FF tie-in. No, and the reason I remember that Final Fantasy IX did the Coca-Cola tie-in was because I downloaded an ad on 56K on my computer back in, in like 2000 or whatever, or 99 or 2000, when right when FF9 came out in Japan, and there's a commercial where the main character Zidane was chasing like a Coca-Cola bottle through the streets of a medieval fantasy city, and where the Coke bottle went, magical things would happen to people. And one of the characters who was a human, the Coke bottle flew past them and they turned into an Anthro Kitsune looking thing. And I thought, gosh, I wish. Yeah, that's why I specifically remember that commercial so much. But what the heck? Huh. Alright, we gotta look at this. MDK comes to life as an animated series. Mainframe Entertainment, creators of the popular computer animated series Reboot, are returning their talent for... An MDK animated series. It is currently airing on YTV in Canada. No, they're talking about Reboot. Okay. Did this ever happen? Did MDK ever get an animated cartoon? I don't remember this. Did this get canceled? And it's funny because my experience, I never talked about MDK on stream. That's a game that I'd love to play on stream someday. I actually played MDK. Okay, MDK did not happen. All right. Because on MDK 2 was like a downloadable game on the Wii, weirdly enough, but never MDK 1. I would have definitely downloaded it. Yeah, MDK was one of the games that shipped with my Macintosh. And Wordercat in chat saying an MDK TV series said to be produced by Mainframe Entertainment was announced for 98 release, but ultimately never aired. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, Sheer Terror, Clock Tower for PlayStation. I was not aware at this time that this Clock Tower game is actually like a sequel to a Super Famicom game. So the idea of like seeing effectively a Super Nintendo Clock Tower game was such a weird thing when I first learned about it and saw it in action. Okay, now this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be fun. So, Color Dreams. I never played any of these games at the time, but during the late 80s, going up against Nintendo was completely unheard of. And not adhering to their strict exclusivity policies meant certain death for a software publisher. There's one company that landed in video game history for not only defying Nintendo's licensing structure, but for creating some of the worst 8-bit games ever. That company is Brea, California-based Color Dreams. Started out around the peak of the 8-bit era by Daniel Lawton, a self-educated computer wizard and vocal opponent of Nintendo's practices. The 20 or so games Color Dream and their Bunch Games label created were not only unlicensed, but you had to trick the NES into playing many of them. The Robin Egg Blue cartridges would fit into the NES, but had to be pressed down a certain way. And later models of the NES wouldn't always work with the games. Technical support was always a problem, who programmed Menace Beach for Color Dreams, and still works there today. We would have people read the serial numbers of their NES and send them a cartridge that would work. Not stopping with the NES, Color Dreams also went on to do one Atari Lynx game, Crystal Mines 2, a sequel to the company's better and now rarest NES game. The company's pamphlets touted the company's Genesis titles, all of which were ports of Amiga games, but those never got off the ground. Yeah, so basically what happened with this company was they found a way to get around Nintendo's lockout chip that didn't infringe on the patents. So, but Nintendo, if you were like Toys R Us or a small and pop toy store, you had to sign a deal with Nintendo saying if you sell unlicensed NES games, we're going to refuse to sell you officially licensed NES games, and you'll be stuck selling only these unlicensed games. We're going to blacklist you. And so the Color Dreams wasn't able to sell their unlicensed games to toy stores because they didn't want to get blacklisted by Nintendo. So what they did, what Color Dreams figured out was, hey, we need to find a customer who is willing to sell NES games, but doesn't care about getting blacklisted for selling official NES games by Nintendo. And their solution? Christian bookstores and religious supply shops didn't care about getting blacklisted by Nintendo because they didn't sell, mainstream commercial like NES games. So they retooled a lot of their games and made some original ones themed around Bible stories and sold them to religious bookstores and Christian supply shops. And that's how they ended up becoming a religious software company. And Wordercat in chat saying, at least none of the modern NES clones emulate the lockout chip, so you can play bootleg carts way easier. Yeah, all those patents for the NES expired at this point. You don't have to worry so much about. So this is going to be interesting. This is going to be very interesting. Because this is all coverage of Pokemon from before there was even any guarantee that it would come out in the US and the Western world. So, Pokémon phenomenon set to revitalize slumping N64 sales. It's no secret that the N64 isn't selling well in Japan, despite the... Oh yeah, and the one thing about FF7 I've got to say, going back to the story up here, I forgot about this story up here, I forgot about FF7. So I went to the store with some birthday money, and my plan was to get Mischief Makers for Nintendo 64, which is about $50. And my brother also had some money, and my mom drove us to Funko Land. And what we came to find was that there was a deal going on at Funko Land, where if you donate $50 to some sort of children's relief, like some kind of like hunger charity for like, you know, domestic child hunger and food insecurity. If you donated $50 to that cause, you would get a $50 voucher to buy a used PlayStation for only $50. So effectively, it was a $100 used PlayStation. Even adjusted for, even not considering currency rates, to get a current gen system for only $100 total was a huge deal. So me and my brother teamed up, and we got the PlayStation, a used PlayStation, and on the way home, and it came with a demo disc, with a variety pack demo disc, and on the way home we went drop by Blockbuster, and we got Crash Bandicoot 2 and Final Fantasy 7. Because I was not into PlayStation, but I keep hearing about, this Final Fantasy 7 game. Like, okay, like, this game's such a big deal. Like, it's like it has such a deep storyline and amazing gameplay. So I'm like, all right, let me get this. Let's see what this is about. Let's get a PlayStation, get it in my house. And we weren't rich, back then, my family, but we were very fortunate to have both Nintendo 64 and PlayStation. And we rented FF7 and Crash Bandicoot 2 and dropped by the pizza parlor and brought home that pizza. And it's a warm gaming memory with my family and my brother. And Crash 2 and FF7 is a pretty amazing starter collection. Yeah, it really is. And it's funny, I don't think I ever played Crash Bandicoot 1 at the time. And when I do go back and play, I actually do have Crash Bandicoot 1 now. Around 2007, I got nostalgic and bought a PlayStation 1 and got, repurchased a PS1 and got Crash 1 and 2, and I played it here and there, didn't get too seriously into it. I'd say my PlayStation 1 is like the last retro, like, vintage system I got, and it was around 2007, 8, thereabouts, and when I played Crash 1, I was like, wow, between Crash 1 and 2, Crash 1 feels incredibly obsolete. No, actually, the only time I played Crash 1 was at one of those, I was staying at a hotel with my family, and we had one of those things where there was like a PlayStation, like, controller, like, hardwired to the TV, and you had to call in with, like, the room telephone and, like, rent, like, digitally PlayStation games to play on it. But, but the Pokemon article, let's get back into this. It's no secret the N64 isn't selling well in Japan. That right there. Largely due to the part of any decent RPGs and fighting games. However, Nintendo has recently announced part of one of their plan to revitalize the N64 market in Japan. Pikachu Genkei Dichu. Pikachu is one of the most popular monsters in Nintendo's alarmingly successful Game Boy RPG, Pocket Monsters, or Pokémon for short. And the company now has him set to star in his very own Nintendo 64 game set to release in early '98. The Pokemon games, there are 3 different versions of the same game, each with different monsters that gamers collect, trade, and do battle with, have sold over 3 million copies in Japan and are appearing on weekly bestseller lists, despite being available for over a year now. Pikachu Genkei Dichu is more of a Tamagotchi-style simulation than an RPG, but the likeness alone should be enough to set things moving again in the dry, desperate N64 market in Japan. In addition, Nintendo announced 3 other Pokemon-related titles in the future. So it's really interesting seeing them really refer to, describe Pokemon kind of like having to explain what Pokemon is. Oh, and Wordercat saying a retro game convention at a hotel with RAFnet system would go so hard. You know what? And there's a version, there's a Nintendo 64 version of that, like, hotel, like, server type thing. where you have an N64 controller hardwired into the TV, but it was like the controller was made by Nintendo, but it's an N64 controller that has the joystick mechanism and joystick construction of a GameCube controller. And it's like such a better stick than the one they used on the actual N64. And it has like, the 8 ways sort of, wedges and everything. But, Alright. Okay, so Bomberman 64. Alright, I'll keep a note on this one. This one, we'll definitely come back and look at this, because we're going to be playing okay, if they add Bomberman 64 and Mischief Makers. Yes, in the end, yeah, it has the sort of, the twisty sort of phone cable type thing, and it ends with a phone jack, yep. If they add Bomberman 64 and Mischief Makers to the Nintendo 64, Nintendo Switch Online app, I will never, ever need to buy oh yeah, and Mystical Ninja starring Goemon. Yeah, if they add Mystical Ninja starring Goemon, Bomberman 64, and yeah, okay, Mystical Ninja, I might as well throw them 2 there, so number 2. So Mystical Ninja, Bomberman, why am I, okay, so Mystical Ninja, Bomberman 64, well, basically, if I get Mischief Makers, the Bomberman 64, and Mystical Ninja starring Goemon, and maybe Chameleon Twist, just as a cherry on top, I will never need to buy a 64, an N64 from the Analog's N64 solution. But here we got the Nintendo 64 DD, and if they really wanted this thing to be an important part of the Nintendo 64's lifespan, they should have built the whole system around this and launched it with the ability to play. I mean, they could have built the N64 around these discs being the standard media. And I guess, like, this thing, it came out in like at the 11th hour of the N64's lifespan in Japan, only with a handful of games, and it wasn't that great. But yeah, no, the Analog 3D is really great, but it's like, yeah, it's a lot of money for me. It's for what it is, for what it does, I'm satisfied with the price, but it's a lot of money for me. So, but yeah, this is still going off that residual excitement from the Famicom disk system redefining a major part of the Famicom's lifespan in Japan. But yeah, if this thing's supposed to be so important to your vision of the system, and that's one thing I will say. I believe maybe Nintendo even learned from this. If you want some crazy gimmick to be an important part of a reason to buy your system, you gotta build it into the system itself. Like Nintendo DS, like Nintendo 3DS, like the Wii U, the Switch. None of those were add-ons or separate purchases that only a handful of games supported. It was built into the system, and most of the games were built around it. So, Croc Legend of the Gobos. I believe this... Yeah, of course, we've got to manage to have an edgy ad for this cute... Now, I believe somehow this game started development as a as a pitch that was made to Nintendo to make a 3D Yoshi game. And Nintendo turned it down, and it ended up becoming... So, Dracula 3D, this is Castlevania. This series is... Dracula is just Castlevania. Lamborghini 64. You got Sonic R. And... So, November 97. So, we're really... Okay, so, we gotta... Have you seen it? Wait a second. Have you seen it? Have you touched it? Have you played it? Nintendo released a stylus and a t-shirt for E3 2004 for the Nintendo DS prototype. And it has the Nintendo DS logo, which at the time was said to be a prototype logo. They ended up very slightly changing it and releasing it. And it said, see it, touch it, play it. Wow, that is amazing. And this is a system I was very interested in, the Tiger Gamecom. This is a swing at Tiger at making a proper competitor to the Game Gear. I mean, to the Game Boy, and it did not work out. But the idea of playing games with a touchscreen. But Wordcat is saying they still did the upgrade thing with the exclusive games, the DSi, the new 3DS, and most people still didn't care. Yeah, like, but that's like more powerful hardware. But I just mean like a fundamental feature. It's not like they made like say a Game Boy 64 and then had a second screen as an add-on attachment. Like, it wasn't like they came out with Wii U with a Pro controller as the standard controller and then had the gamepad as a separate accessory. Like, they built in those gimmicks into the main system itself. That's what I meant by that. But no, we're upside down. Well, the thing is, there's no trademark. They didn't trademark it. They just used that phrase. They didn't necessarily register that slogan as a trademark. But Nintendo did use Playing is Believing at E3 2004. And there's a little tiny thing like pointing out that, hey, Playing is Believing is, like, I think it was owned by Namco, I believe. So let's, okay, no, we want to, the unbelievable graphics and animation, awesome touchscreen, the ultimate portable gaming system, Gamecom, active. And yeah, it has that little dot there with a planet, like with like a little orbiting ring around it, like it's a planet, but it's set as Gamecom. Way cool speech and sound. Internet and email access optional. Yeah, text-only internet and an email address. You could actually email. You know, of course, hard line through a phone line. But if you're playing games on a TV, you haven't played them yet. Philips Magnavox. Connect your game console to Scuba instead of a TV and take your games to a whole new level. Yeah, but the thing is, this isn't virtual reality. It's not going to make the games 3D. You're just seeing the games just really close up to your eyes. Which is even... Oh yeah, Star Wars Masters of Teräs Käsi. It is a Star Wars fighting game. You know, the world of late 90s but prequel Star Wars is very interesting. Oh, meet the root of evil. Mortal Kombat mythology, Sub-Zero. Now, this is one of those games that I believe we rented, me and my brother. It was one of those Friday night, our homework's done, mom or dad takes us to Blockbuster, we rent a couple of games, and then we go to the pizza parlor across the street, and then we go home and play and have a late night, you know, games and pizza night, and a movie maybe. But yeah, Mortal Kombat Mythology is one of those games. I believe we rented this alongside, I don't know, was it Pocket Fighter? Like the Street Fighter puzzle game spin-off. It was either Pocket Fighter or Intelligent Cube for PlayStation. One of those games. Yeah, this PlayStation controller here bears a striking resemblance to the prototype PlayStation 3 controller that got memed on so much they dialed back the design and made it more conservative for the final release. And we got Return Fire, Magical Knight Rayearth. Yeah, this is one of those, like, you know, capital A anime games, right? I've heard good things about it. It's not something I would ever personally play. You have X-Men versus Street Fighter, Bust-A-Move 3, and this is for Saturn, and I was half wondering if Bust-A-Move was one of the games that I had played, but Saturn Bomberman Fight. So this is a 3D Bomberman game, but it's more a traditional sort of like battling, you know, in a maze kind of Bomberman game. Alright. We've only got 15 minutes, so we got Alundra, Excalibur, a Tennis Arena, Mass Destruction. I never heard of that game before or since, but Here we have an edgy PlayStation ad. Oh no, an edgy Saturn ad, excuse me, for NBA Action 98. Last Bronx. I forgot this was a thing. Auto Destruct. Don't remember hearing of that. Oh, the, Ogre Battle, of course. An enhanced version of the 16-bit game here. And I forgot that there was a... What system is this for? This is for... yeah, this is back when they'd often have a percentage of how complete it was, oddly enough, but... Yeah, so Load Runner, it's a game I've never played. Someday I'll play the Famicom version. You notice this game started in the West, but it has a unique cultural... This is for PlayStation. I don't know if this ever came to the United States. Yeah, Load Runner has a unique cultural significance in Japan, especially in regards to the history of the PlayStation and of the Famicom tape deck accessory for saving fan-created content. And and it actually has some links to Bomberman, believe it or not. So Manhattan Project. You have some very inspired iguana things, mascots here. And I mean, come on, look at these boxes look so... These look so bad. These look so chintzy. These look like something you'd get from a creepy kiosk in in a mall, and then you go back to return it when it doesn't work, and they're like they've already fled the state, possibly the country. Ah, Diablo. I don't know about this one, Diablo. I don't see it taking off really. I don't think it's gonna have much staying power. But you have some coverage of older games here. Elric. Never heard of that. Mortal Kombat Annihilation. I only saw the first Mortal Kombat in theaters. You have Ship Records, I never heard of. Caution, Cyber Monster Conspiracy Uncovered. Okay, this is an ad for Monster Rancher. Yeah, Monster Rancher had a cool thing where you could take any compact disc and yeah, any compact disc would basically produce a unique monster with unique stats. And that was sort of the gimmick behind the first Monster Rancher. I never actually got to play this game, but I did watch the Monster Rancher anime on Fox Family back in the early 2000s. Skull Monkeys, beautifully a claymation video game. This is one of those games that even when they do games like this nowadays, where they use actual physical materials and stop motion to make a video game, it's still quite extraordinary. We have Gex 2. We have Beast Wars. I was never into Transformers as a kid. Until Beast Wars. I got into Beast Wars because it came on, I think, either right before or right after. I think it came on right after Pokemon on weekday mornings when Pokemon was first airing. So Arkanoid returns. I never actually played a proper Arkanoid game or actual Breakout. Raystorm, a game I'm sure I would suck at this, but it's okay. Chocobo's Mysterious Dungeon. Thanks to Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, these games are the concept of these roguelikes with randomly generated dungeons are far more common. But these games were very rarely brought to the United States at this time. But I know that there's Chocobo's Mysterious Dungeon. There was also a spin-off with Torneko from the Dragon Quest series. And just the idea of a game having uniquely laid out dungeons every time you played it out for a lot of replay value was very interesting to me. Gradius Gaiden. Ghost in the Shell. I rented some Ghost in the Shell tape. I don't know, like, it was a one-shot movie. Like, I don't really know. All I remember was some guy was he was like a garbage man in like a city, and like he was going through an alley, and he kept like putting some device on all the payphones to like hack them or something, and that's all I really remember about Ghost in the Shell. Courier Crisis. Better shred than dead. I mean, okay, one psychocyclist, 250 extreme errands, a whole city of hurt. The Courier Crisis, and I'm looking at it like there's no reference to delivering things. So why is it Courier Crisis? Okay, so don't shoot. I can tell this is for MDK. MDK. It thinks, therefore it kills. Available now for the PlayStation console. Oh yeah, I played this on my Revision A iMac back in the day. And we are Mortal Kombat 4 version 2. I didn't realize there were multiple versions of the same like entry in the series for Mortal Kombat back then. Alright, let's try to get through this. So we've got Nintendo 64. Things are looking up for Nintendo's capable console. Action. There are plenty of third-party tools to choose from, but you're still best buying Nintendo's own pad, which seems the most comfortable and durable. Bulky drive. This add-on's still a long way off, but it's definitely the next big thing for Nintendo 64. Nah, that did not happen. The first disc games include Earthbound 64, Mario Artist, Mario Paint type game, and a version of SimCity. The DD will have a built-in modem. Yeah, that didn't go anywhere. Well, I mean, it did worse than going nowhere. It went... But, yeah, here's Tetrasphere. I really did expect Tetrasphere to be, I don't know, there was just this idea that this might be the future of Tetris, and apparently it started off as a game that didn't even have a Tetris link, and now because of the Tetris tie-in, it's probably never ever going to get re-released, so... Proof that demons do exist. Persona by Altus. So, Persona is the first chapter of the Revelation series. Yeah, they ended up really not going anywhere with the Revelation series. And, Wordercat specifying in chat, there was a US prototype for the 64DD found, but that was the only sign of them ever bringing it out here. And what's cool is that they were unrelated, or maybe tangentially related. There's also a prototype of Mario 64 running on the 64DD. Yeah, these Persona games, I've never been into Shin Megami Tensei or Persona. Yeah, Freedom, Colony Wars. Shooter, Star Fox 64. Controller pack. Just ideas for games, I guess. Diddy Kong Racing. Arcade Shark. Tecmo Stackers. I forgot this game ever existed. Yeah, Tecmo Dead or Alive, coming soon. She'll kick your butt. You know, my dad's first exposure to Dead or Alive was Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball on the original Xbox, and he wasn't even, like, offended or anything, but he's like, wait, so these well-endowed women are playing volleyball and it's to the death? Like, what is this? Why is it called Dead or Alive? It's a volleyball, it's like titty girl volleyball. Why is it called Dead or Alive? And I explained that there's a fighting game, and the female fighters have a certain following, and so they made a gratuitous volleyball game where you get to see them, you know, with certain physics being realistically rendered, I suppose. Wouldn't get my attention personally, but yeah, so the Sony Analog Pad. Now this is interesting. because I believe, yeah, this has the this is not just the, this is not the DualShock right here. This is just this just has the analog sticks on it, but it doesn't have the rumble. The DualShock was what had the rumble. So we've got some PlayStation coverage here. Strategies, Command and Conquer. Yeah, Super Puzzle Fighter. This is the what I was talking about. I think we rented this along with, what was it? With Mortal Kombat Mythologies Sub-Zero. Yeah, even though Sony may not have the rights to games like Tetris Attack and Kirby's Avalanche, they still leave us with plenty of puzzle games to choose from. And Saturn. Sega's system isn't quite the cool gift it used to be. What I will tell you, for families, I did not have a Saturn. But for families that did not have much money, the failure of the premature death of the Sega Saturn put this system and its library and made it accessible to a lot of people who would not have been able to afford a 3D capable console for their kids otherwise. And I have friends who had Saturn for that exact reason. So we've got Game Boy Pocket, the Gamecom by Tiger, Dragon Ball GT Final Bout, and I believe this was before Dragon Ball Z was even widely localized. That was a game called Depth Charge or Critical Depth or something. It was Kiss the Abyss. It's saying Kiss the Abyss, Critical Depth. It wasn't about the James Cameron film. So Cool Borders 2. I believe I played a demo of Cool Borders. And here we have an article about androgynous game characters. Including the square from Atari Adventure. Straight. Okay, so Tactics Ogre, the next chapter in the Ogre Battle series. And Star Wars Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2, British and okay, what is this? It's a game actually called British Invasion? Okay. I guess it doesn't have a Hessian Mercs DLC, but here we have yeah, Conquer, back when it was actually a cute kids game about a cartoon game squirrel. And eventually, like, this company Rare, they got so sick of making these family-friendly cartoony platformers with animal mascots that they basically made a subversion of it and made like an edgy, you know, parody of their own previous games in the forms of oh, here we have the first Grand Theft Auto. Wait a second. Wait. Originators of the Lemming series and longtime Psygnosis ally, DMA were recently brought in by Gremlin, run by David Jones and based in Dundee, Scotland. The company became part of Nintendo's Dream Team. Grand Theft Auto's more than 200 missions have you hauling drugs, busting through police roadblocks, and of course stealing cars to become the most wanted driver in America. What, you expected something normal from the creators of Lemmings? Is that the publisher? Originators of the Lemming series. That's very interesting. I was not aware of that connection to the creation of Lemmings. Alright. Now, the ASCII grip, a one-handed gamepad for lefties, righties, nose pickers, shark attack survivors, shark attack survivors, folks with poison oak, okay, alright, okay, avid porn fans, okay, they just flat out said it. They just flat out said it. Pissed off New York taxi cab drivers, a certain 80s hard rock drummer, that clumsy kid in shop class, people who gave their right arm for something, and Sabrina Whitehead, who wrote down absolutely everything Miss Dinkelheimer said in History 101, the ASCII grip, the ultimate controller for RPGs and other PlayStation game console software. Also very popular among disabled people who could only use one hand. Any game that could be operated with one hand and work with a controller like this, highly appreciated. Of course, but if you sell it strictly as a disability aid, you're not going to sell that many, so they have to try to put this edgy spin on it to make other people interested in it. How much do those go for these days? I have no idea. I know like a number of controllers, a number of these one-handed ASCII actually did make a number of these one-handed controllers for different systems, mostly for RPGs and visual novels, if you know what I'm talking about. For Japanese PCs, also used a lot of controllers of this nature. And we're out of time. Yeah, let's go ahead and finish this. Oh, here we go. Rayman, the goofball action hero, is back. This is a very I would like to play this game on stream eventually, but now available on PC, Rayman Gold, the complete original plus 24 new levels and more. Check it out at ubisoft.com. Yeah, the first Rayman. This is something I'll definitely be playing on stream in the future. So we got coverage of Diddy Kong Racing. Yeah, we're definitely in scroll through mode. I thought this was Lord Zed for a second from Power Rangers. It's not. Mace the Dark Age. Everything's a weapon. Oh, we have another one-handed controller here. This one, it's like a pseudo glove type thing. There was a version of this for N64 too. Yeah, Mega Man X4. Yeah, this I rented the PlayStation version of back then. As well as Mega Man 8, you have Crash 2, Dragon Ball GT, Croc. Huh. So we got Mass Destruction, Moto Racer. Okay, so we're really just in a bunch of reviews here. We got reviews of... we got reviews of accessories. I'm not used to that. The period when EGM was doing reviews of accessories must have been short-lived, because I started... This was right before I started regularly renting or getting EGM, but I feel like very soon after that, I was starting to... Within 6 months to a year, I was already... And someone's got a complete in box for $14.99. That's not bad, WorderCat. Thanks for doing that research for us. N64 Universal System can play US and imported games, hardware Japanese system. Yeah, all they have to do is remove the dust covers and they can play games internationally. Yeah, good luck getting this imported, looking like a black light gun for your video games. And we got one of these word puzzle sweepstakes things to win a bunch of gaming stuff. More catalog stuff. And Mega Man X4. And that does it. So, hey, I will be back. I will be back in a few minutes. And I'll set the game back up, and we will continue with Pokemon Red for at least an hour, maybe even 2. We'll see. Man, honestly, probably more like an hour today. I do have plans for things I want to do after stream today, but 2 hours of Pokemon gameplay would be pretty sweet. So let's go to where's my button? Where's my button? There's my button. Okay. Yep. So I will be back in a few minutes, and I'll run the ad during then, and I'll get up and stretch, refill my water, and we'll keep going. Sorry, I forgot to start the timer. We'll start that again. No problem. Hey, I'm back. Yeah, and assessing things. Unfortunately, it's probably wisest for me to go ahead and restrict my stream for another 35 minutes. So let's get started and make the most of our time. We could, I think we could definitely, okay. So we already have the redemption of a Sodor lore reading, and thank you for the watch streak and stream, Azurest. We'll start it now. We might as well do this now before we get tied up with doing the gameplay. But yep, there we go. That is not Sodor lore reading. This is okay. So we read about the tunnel on the Skarloey Railway. Now let's read about Renius, the location, not the character. The tunnel section ends at a spectacular gorge spanned by a viaduct, which, apart from the tunnel, was the major engineering feature of the line. Below, and half a mile to the north of the viaduct, the gorge narrows and ends in a precipitous rock face some 200 feet high. Over this is a mountain stream divided at the top by a boulder, drops into two separate falls. These falls are an impressive sight, particularly after heavy rain. The station is a picturesque one and much photographed. It is sited near the falls for the convenience of visitors, and is in consequence on a narrow ledge with no room for a passing loop. All trains stop here, however, for ticket examination, and the few minutes' delay enables tardy travelers to scramble up to the station and catch their train. All up trains take water here, while ticket inspection is going on. The tank of the water tower is fed from the mountain stream. Many visitors spend a morning or afternoon here, so the railway has made a footpath from the station to the edge of the gorge to the lip of the falls. From here, a stepped path descends into the gorge. The walk down the gorge and under the viaduct is an impressive one, and a meal at the Falls Hotel suitably rounds off a pleasant excursion. The hotel gives good service and excellent cuisine, but is somewhat pricey. For those with shallower purses, the Gorge Cafe provides self-service lunches, teas, and snacks. The cafe owns the field adjoining their premises, which is a licensed camping site. Part has been laid out as a picnic area. There is no village at Renius. The hotel and cafe are the only dwellings which are closed during the winter. Renius can be reached on foot from the Skarloey station by a pleasant walk through the woods 2 miles. Alternatively, there is an equally attractive and well-marked footpath from Glennock of 6 miles. Follow beside the railway till you reach the gorge at Hewin Dewey, the drop down from the river, and follow its bank till the path joins that from Skarloey at a wooden footbridge. This is where Renius Viaduct and Gorge during the TV broadcast of 1958. Duncan stalls on this viaduct in 1961. Skarloey has come to Duncan's rescue here in a gallant old engine. Renius, sometime during the lean years, taking on water at Renius Station. And Renius at the station in 1965 with the Centenary train. Okay. So, that is the story of the waterfall at Renius. And one thing I'm surprised was not mentioned. Renius in the Sudric language actually means divided waterfall. So, we'll boot up our device, drop it back on the dock with the Pokémon Red cartridge installed, and get on to resuming the game. There we go. 36 hours into this playthrough. I really hope this is accurate and I didn't forget to pause or stop the game properly at some point. Let's take a look at which Pokemon. Okay, we're all at level 33 here. Yeah, okay. We'll just continue on. Hey, Azurest, it's always a pleasure. We love our Sodor lore readings here. So, Master Koga comes from a long line of ninjas. What did you descend from? I descended from heaven like lightning. Juggler wants to fight. Juggler sent Drowsy. Okay. Yeah, if we could actually manage to inflict. Yeah, nice. Okay, that's what we want to see. Enemy Drowsy was poisoned. Enemy Drowsy used Headbutt. And we can do. Let's see. I won't use Focus Energy. Getting pumped. They use poison gas. It didn't affect. Yeah, they use poison type moves, but Drowsy is not a poison type Pokemon, so as they say, not very effective. Yeah, perfect example of that. And also an example of trainers that may focus in using moves of a certain element type, but their Pokemon may not necessarily be that type. And come on, this is gonna suck. This is gonna suck. Okay, yeah, sounds about right. We came close. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna close my eyes, and whoever. Okay, we're using Gyarados. That was purely at random, so. Yay, nice. Now I got another level up. About to use Hypno. We will send out... Yeah, let's send out Juggler. Pound? Yeah, okay, that's... Yeah, it's gonna take too long. Let's send Pikachu out. Especially since I believe Koga does have a Zubat and or a Golbat, so Pikachu is going to be one of those very effective Pokemon being able to use electric type moves, though. We want to paralyze them first. Okay. We want to hopefully... Okay, that's... Okay, we are just flat out... We're gonna use Flash. We're gonna use... They use Headbutt. And... Oh, they're gone. Okay. I'm gonna close my eyes and... Jigglypuff. Okay, fine, let's do it. We use Headbutt, but they attacked miss. That's why we use Flash those times, to reduce their accuracy. And they're, you know, paralyzed. They have a chance of not even being able to land the attack that way as well. Oh, come on. Okay, good. Rest was disabled, not our one damage dealing move. And H defeated Juggler. Dropped my balls. Got 1190. Okay, that's everyone. All that's left is Koga. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's go ahead and heal at the Pokemon Center. And then we'll go back and take on Koga. Hopefully it's the first time. We'll see what happens. Even though I have 25 minutes blocked out for this, if it takes me 25 minutes, I'll play another 25 minutes, but if I defeat Koga, I'm going to call the stream there, unfortunately, because there are things I'd like to try to get done, and the sooner I get started on that, the better. And I don't know what it's going to be like out there since tonight's a holiday, so if I do beat Koga before the 25 minutes is up, I'm gonna call the stream at that point. I'll find you someone cool to raid into if anyone I know is around. And we might as well save on the spot right here as well. And there we go. Got her saving. A mere child like you dares to challenge me? Very well, I shall show you the true terror as a ninja master. You shall feel the despair of poison and sleep techniques. Koga wants to fight. Koga sent out coughing. Horn attack. Okay. We'll use... Wow, they actually used an item. This is one of the first times I've seen, like, trainers use items in that way. But, we're going to use... Wow, and that coughing's level 37, geez. Now, if they try to use poison attacks on me, it won't do a great deal of damage since I'm also a poison type. But horn attack is a physical, it's like a normal type attack, I believe. So, yeah, it is. They used X attack on coughing, so they're using items to make them more powerful. Yeah. Even though I'm 4 levels stronger, they're 4 levels stronger than me, but I'm actually still doing pretty good in this matchup. If that's 37, I could expect their last Pokemon to be like a level 40 something. Okay. Yeah, level 39, yeah, and that's not even their last Pokemon. Let's see how much damage I can deal before they start beating up on me a little more severely. Yeah, Mucky's minimized. Yeah, their evade rose. This is gonna be ridiculous. Can get ridiculous very quickly. Now, it doesn't. Yeah, a lot of their attacks don't even affect Nidorina because they're poison type, damage dealing attacks. Now, if we can... Ooh, we're releasing so many of our power points for our individual moves. Because so many of these aren't hitting. Should I decrease... I wonder if I should decrease their defense first with Charmeleon? Yeah, I don't mind. Because of our... Ah! I barely survived that. Come on. Do I even want to try to... Can I... No, Leer for defense. Drop... No! Didn't work. And they make themselves their... Alright. Thanks, Charmeleon. Okay. Let's try Pikachu, actually. Yeah, and we're gonna get poisoned. And, okay. Keep using Minimize. You know, I just remembered, I have a video of me beating Pokemon Sapphire that I literally just pointed a camera at my TV and recorded it. This must have been in like 2007? Because I was playing it on the Game Boy player. poison, but... Quick attack, not... Well, that was quick attack and not thunder shock. Ah! I did not think that one hit attack would hit that hard, but... Now, Wordicat saying they played Super Mario Bros. Way back in like 2010 with an old crappy phone in one hand and a Wiimote in the other. Oh yeah, so so that's how you recorded your gameplay? Yeah, I actually, at least, I had a camera. It was like a Kodak digital camera from 2003 that was not primarily a video camera, but that's what I used anyway. And I had it on a tripod. It was borderline unwatchable, and you got hit with a copyright claim by Nintendo anyway. It was a copyright claim, not a copyright strike, though, right? Because I know at one point, like very early YouTube, like pre-Google YouTube, I knew someone who got they were doing like a video, did a video review of Metroid Prime, and they got, and YouTube took it down on copyright grounds. It wasn't even from Nintendo. They're saying, oh, this video contains video game footage, and you don't own the rights to that video game, so that's, against YouTube's terms of service. What a very different world YouTube was back then. And also, just the idea of, there's no legitimate reason for anyone to make a video that's more than 10 minutes long. It was that era of YouTube. Yeah, so... Okay. So, can we please land some attacks? This is getting ridiculous. Yeah, nothing happened. I have like a 1 in 20 chance of hitting them at this point. Not very effective. Okay, at this point, it's time for some lemonade. You earned it. Yeah, it's still effectively a full heal at this point in the game. Come on. Are you gonna... Okay, Lear got disabled. Come on, land this attack. Thank you. Thank you. Whew. It's a little, a little paranoid. Okay. No. Alright. So if we go into items, we only have 4 uses left on that. And that's still disabled. You might as well chip away at their HP. Oh, we got a critical hit in on that. That's going to decrease our accuracy a lot. Okay. I was not... And Mechacon saying, kind of missed the days of Roger Rabbit Part 5. No, remember, there was a %20, or there was something you'd amend to the end of URLs to make it, to upgrade it to 480p, because, originally, I think 360 was the max, but they upgraded, 480p before they formally announced it. Yeah, 00 sound system and Notepad.exe tutorial videos. Okay. We are officially... Okay, we are... Actually, we're going to use this opportunity to heal some of our other... For example, we're going to use an antidote on... Okay, actually, no, Pikachu's fainted. Okay, I did not realize Pikachu was fainted. We need to revive Pikachu. I forgot Pikachu was fainted. And use a lemonade on... Because... No! Doggone! I used it on the wrong Pokemon. Okay. Alright, alright. So we're down 1 lemonade. Now we use it on the right Pokemon. When we actually wanted. Yeah, hey, shoutouts to unregistered HyperCam2 out there. Thank you. Single-handedly carrying early YouTube. So we can actually we'll send in Jigglypuff. Why not? Go up and use Smog. Your attack missed. Okay. Come on. Yeah, we did it. Okay, we're good. We're in good shape. We're doing good. We're good at level 34. Nice. Let's use Weezing. A level 43 Weezing. Wowie wow. What? Are you kidding me? Opening move self-destruct? We're... Opening move self-destruct. What? Okay, we instantly win the battle. That Weezing was so over-leveled that could have made us, that could have burned through most of our Pokemon and had us with only 1 or 2 left by the end of the battle. But they just immediately self-destructed, which is a move that only makes sense if they have other Pokemon. If the enemy team has other Pokemon. That's so ridiculous. And no one got any EXP for it, and that's the sad part. I'm not Nuzlocking. I'm not a competitive enough player, not deeply versed in these systems and strategies to the point where Nuzlocke is really necessary for me. At least in these older games. In the newer games, they make them so easy sometimes that maybe I did half of my I did the first 2 badges of Pokemon Sun and Moon on my first and only playthrough without using any items in battle. You have proven your worth. Here, take the Soul Badge. Okay. Now that you have the Soul Badge, the defense of your Pokemon increases. It also lets you surf outside of battle. Take this too. Got TM-06. TM-06 contains Toxic. It's a secret technique over 400 years old. Okay. TM-6 is Toxic, I'll remember that. I don't think you know what? That might actually be a good move to teach Nidorino. That might actually get a good move to teach Nidorino, but for now, we're gonna heal at the Pokemon Center. Okay, and we're going to deposit. We're gonna deposit some of our items that will definitely be late game use items, like this full restore that can go in there. This max potion, we'll put both of those in there. A max revive, very rare item. I don't think you could actually purchase this. Do I have any TMs or HMs on me now? No, I do not. We want to keep TM-06 with us. We'll go ahead and save and look for someone to raid into if anyone's around that I have been in their stream before. So, alright. Yeah, I'm gonna look into if Toxic's a good move to teach Nidorino, if that's even possible. But, let's see. So, it's been a long time since I've raided into them, but I think it would be cool. I think y'all would enjoy Pete Dorr, who Pete Dorr has been streaming on Twitch since before it was Twitch. He's been streaming since Justin.tv. But why can't I? Hold on. Where's my... Okay, there we go. They made the raid thing look so weird. Yeah, I'm gonna send you all into Pete Dorr's stream. If you want to say anything, say choo-choo. And, yeah, that'll be fun. So, I'll be back on the 27th. No, not the 27th. Yeah, well, I'll be back on the 20th. And then, the next week... I'll be back on the 21st, excuse me. I don't know what I was thinking with that. I'll be back on the 21st, and then on the 27th, I'll be doing a special Pokemon Day stream. But,